Welcome to the BoLS Tabletop Hour.
I'm JR.
I'm Adam Harry, and we're going to talk about stuff.
Yeah, we've got a lot of cool stuff to talk about today.
Yeah.
We have got some Dungeons & Dragons news. We've got a little bit of 40K happening.
Yeah, Rogue Trader time.
Yeah, lots of exciting stuff going on this weekend. And then coming soon, Beasts of Chaos for the Age of Sigmar. I'm very excited about those guys.
And of course, just a little side note: there's the Reaver came out.
Yeah, it did. The Reaver came out over the weekend. So folks, if
Adeptus Titanicus.
I dept that Titanicus. No, we have had a chance to play at least one game, probably more by now.
Yeah.
Wait, this is live. We have had a chance to play one game by now. It's a ton of fun. I have not been able to stop thinking about it since we played last week.
You played. I actually got a couple more things in there, but I really do like the game, and I can't wait to get my hands on some Reaver kits.
Yeah, you were saying
Warhound.
You were saying that the Reaver is like the workhorse, right?
Yes. I think the Reaver actually opens up the game in a lot of different ways. I'm excited about it, just because it is a workhorse. It's the Titan. During that era, that was the main battle Titan, so it's going to show up and do stuff, and it's actually at a good price point too. I feel like you could collect an actual, maniple of Titans and have a real good, go of it. Basically.
Yeah. Well, what would you use like a Reaver for?
A Reaver's just your General's Titan. You can build it to be a close combat Titan. Maybe you want to have one Power Fist and a gun, more of a balanced loadout, or you can just go for the big gunboat and just blast away, which I'm kind of in favor for too. Because as we saw during our game,
guns do actually kill Titans.
Yes, and getting in close, because when we played, I got the killing blow with Knights. Actually, remember?
You did.
You killed me back.
I blew them up right along with you,
which was kind of fun.
But
I like that right now. We got to play with the Warlord and the Knights, so it's the two extremes. But I really think the two extra Titans in the middle layer kind of round out the game and make it really, really good. I
am looking forward to getting the chance to play more, especially once the Warhounds come out, because I think you'll be able to do some fun like flanking things with that.
But speaking of exciting things coming out, we got Waterdeep.
You have Waterdeep, Dragon Heist. This is the new Dungeons and Dragons adventure. It is an urban adventure that puts players on a quest to find a treasure trove, a cache of gold dragons, which is what Waterdeep calls the gold coins.
It's a gold dragon's cache.
Exactly.
Full of gold dragons.
There's a gold dragon that protects it. They are looking for a stolen cache of 500,000 gold pieces.
500,000 gold dragons.
Yeah, no kidding. That is a lot of money. And I mean, depending on how it goes, who knows what happens to that money? You will find out really as it goes along.
If I'm a player, we find that money and then we have a really, really good party.
We're just like, all right,
we retire. We're done.
What happened?
Before we get into the game, pop quiz, JR. I'm putting you on the spot right now. When you think of iconic cities in all of D&D, name 3. Go.
Okay.
Don't say Waterdeep.
Okay. There's Neverwinter.
Boom.
There's
Baldur's.
Yeah. Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate. Yeah. Got another one?
Yeah, I do. There's also Silvery Moon.
Ooh. What did that one?
That's the.
What's the city of Doors name?
The city of Doors is Sigil.
Sigil, see.
That's not in the Forgotten Realms though.
But it's
like
it's the nexus for everything.
Yeah.
I was talking of just in general D&D.
Oh, in general D&D.
Yeah. Well, Waterdeep for me is...
Waterdeep is one of the iconic cities, though.
When most folks think of a D&D city, a lot of folks will immediately think of Waterdeep.
Well, because it's got like everything that you could want in D&D. Like you can encompass the entirety of like D&D in this one city. You find thieves guilds, you find mages guilds, you find
other thieves guilds.
There's a ton of different factions, right?
Yeah.
Like, so there's Guard.
Yep.
There's the secret agents of the Guard. There's the Lords of Waterdeep.
Which is a really fun board game.
Right. Which
I don't think we have
it. It's not here anymore.
It was up here.
It was there, but now it's Assault of the Giants. There's a ton of cool like stuff to dig into. There's a dungeon hidden underneath the city.
It's kind of a big deal too.
It's a huge deal. It is a literal mega dungeon.
Yeah, it's like, and that mega dungeon idea is one of the iconic mega dungeons. When people think of a dungeon, They think of the yawning portal, and they think of going down in that pit and
going into Undermountain and finding out what weird stuff you can loot from Hallister Blackcloak. And Undermountain plays into the search for the cache of gold dragons,
which I'm really excited about too, because you've got the Undermountain. If you have the Yawning Portal book, which has classic D&D adventures, it mentions the Yawning Portal. The Yawning Portal is actually a bar, a tavern in Waterdeep. There's actually a really cool map. Can we show this off?
Yeah, we can show this off.
There's a really cool thing that I'm a huge fan of in this book. There's a lot of really cool artwork. I'm going to kind of pull up a little bit. You can see there is a fold-out 2-page spread of the Waterdeep location known as the Yawning Portal. It's kind of a fun mini game. We're not going to spoil it, but there's all the different NPCs.
There's a whole bunch. I think if we hold it for just a second, then we can.
We've got a second camera
slightly
that's zooming
closer
in.
shot of this thing. But it's really cool because the Yawning Portal is the tavern that's built on top of the Yawning Portal into Undermountain, right?
Right. There.
So
there. I got it. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So in there you'll find adventurers who are looking to make money. It's a place for like retired or just not busy adventurers to go. It's sort of the adventurers' tavern, right?
Right.
And you can go down into Undermountain from there. You may not come back up. And in fact, it's where the whole quest for Waterdeep Dragon Heist kicks off.
Yeah.
You're a party of adventurers who are having a nice quiet drink in the Yawning Portal when something goes down. Actually, a whole lot of something's
a whole lot of stuff. It's a fun. It's kind of a smack talking place too, because like people challenge each other. Like, are you gonna go in the hole? You gonna go in the hole? You know. So
I'm not.
I don't know. Can we go back to the other cam real fast? Because my arm's getting tired. Anyway, the book itself. Can we talk about the book itself for a second?
Yeah, 224 pages.
Hardback, full color.
Full color.
In your words, do you think this is more of a DM book, player book?
Oh, it's definitely a DM book.
Yeah.
It is a book for dungeon masters. It is a book for people that especially are looking to figure out how to run their own adventure set in a city. This is, I think, one of the definitive guides for not just running this urban adventure, but running any urban adventure in general, because it teaches by example for a lot of things. And it comes with not just the stuff that you need to run this adventure, but it comes with enough stuff to make Waterdeep feel alive, right? So the last chapter in the book, chapter 9, and then of course after the chapter there are appendices, very Tolkien, but after the last chapter in the book is the Waterdeep Enchiridion, which is basically like, here's a guide to Waterdeep. Here's noble houses that you can find that players can be a member of. Here
you could join,
right? Here are different organizations they could join. Here's different like areas in the city, different complications, different side quests, different like everything that could come up. They talk about some of the like walking statues that live around there. They talk about the different things that protect it. They talk about the people that live within. They talk about like all the different kinds of impacts that the players can have on the city as well.
It's just a really well done. Like you said, it's a guidebook. There's holidays in there as well. One of the cool things about this book is it actually has 4 different seasons included. That's one of the holidays there.
One of the holidays right here.
It's got 4 different seasons included in the book, and each one of those seasons is kind of determined by which big bad, in a sense, can run. You could swap things around if you want to get creative.
You could for instance run the chapter on Manshoon, who is like an archmage who is hunted by the Zentarim, but also sort of runs them, and he's the villain for winter. And you can invade his wizard's lair. Each one of the chapters is sort of a different guide to running one of the villains. So for those of you who don't know, Waterdeep Dragon Heist is sort of a modular adventure. So depending on what season it is when you start the adventure, basically, if you're the DM, you get to pick a villain that you think your party would be entertained by or would love to run against or hate to, and you run them, and it gives you like a guide for like, okay, here's how you put together the encounters if they're fighting Manchun, who's the Thanos-looking guy on the cover.
Right.
Here's how you put him together if they're going after the Xanathar, right? If he's the villain that's looking for the cache of dragons. Exactly.
Yeah.
And you'll find like each of the villains has their own chapter, which is something that I really like. They do a good job of giving, like, they have their own layers and all the like encounters for that villain that you would expect. But more than that, they go into like what motivates the villains and like how to give them a lot of personality and really give them a lot of life.
I really like that this book not only breathes life into those villains, but also into the whole city. Again, there are the 4 villains and the 4 seasons that match up to them, but if you really wanted to put some work into it, you could totally throw your players for a curveball and mix things up. Again, some of the events are kind of tied to the season, but you can totally kind of cross-pollinate those and make them happen at different times and just rework the events.
I just want to show off how amazing some of the art in here is. This book is utterly gorgeous. You'll find several several full-page spreads.
Yeah, there's some kids that are dressed up as adventurers.
Yeah, that kind of follow them along, and
like, you can see the shadow.
The shadow here is Xanathar.
Not only does it know, but it's also a beholder.
You'll also get like full-color art for various magic artifacts that you can find within, different NPCs that you can run into.
Oh, can we talk about the NPCs real fast?
So the NPCs...
There's so many cool NPCs.
They're full of a lot of character and a lot of fun, cool stuff that you can kind of pick straight out of the adventure and use like however you want. So like you've got your Drow gunslinger here.
Yeah.
Matt Mercer of Critical Role fame was one of the consultants on this adventure, and so like the gunslinger feels like a little bit of a nod to the gunslinger
Percy,
class he has designed that's on D&D Beyond and available through the DM's Guild.
Yep.
You can find all the different like monsters that work for the Xanathar. I want to get to the
Jarlaxle.
Yeah.
Yep.
But where is here we go. So we have my favorite one here is this Mind Flayer, who you can see is holding some intellect devourers. And one of the things that I love about this adventure is one of those intellect devourers has eaten the brain of an adventurer, like hollowed him out, lives inside of him, and now has basically turned him into a thrall of the guy. Yeah. You don't have a picture of him. You just get like... I think you do, but it's towards the back.
Yeah.
Where all the art is...
Oh, speaking of stuff in the back with art, there's also this giant map, which we haven't pulled out yet. You don't have to cut to this, Mars, but it's a poster-sized map.
We may as well, right?
Are we going to tear it out live?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it
We're
live.
doing it live. Okay. We're doing it. No! Yeah, so this poster...
It is a full-size poster
It's ripped out. We have yet to do this, so I'm kind of pumped about this.
So this is the DM's map.
Yep.
Which has all the different areas for it. Like it's got all the points of interest marked.
Yeah.
All the main streets are named as well, so that you can kind of see where everything is. It's got the harbor, the little island where all of the I'm not going to spoil that. And so it's a lot of this stuff you will find.
And here's the player's version, which the streets are still named, but a lot of the points of interest have been removed.
Are different.
I love maps.
I do as well.
Just for D&D, for fantasy settings, nothing to me makes the world feel more alive and more real than getting to look at maps of that place. And the fact that you actually get a full poster size map here of Waterdeep.
Yeah, and it's a big city.
Yeah.
With its own like outlying farms and all that stuff.
One of the cool things I like to do with maps too is if I'm ever running an adventure and I need to come up with something quick, I always immediately look at the map, and then there's a sewer system that mirrors the streets. So boom, you already have that laid out for you, and you can now have an adventure.
You know what to do in a heartbeat, in a quick moment of where you need to get an adventure.
A moment of panic. We're going to the sewers. Now, side note too, this book is designed as a full-fledged adventure, like we talked about.
Absolutely.
There are 4 seasons, but they're designed for levels 1 to 5.
Yes. which is really interesting. So most of the villains in here are high level villains. I think
like really high, like 15 plus.
Level 15 plus. Jarlaxle is challenge 15. Manchun is challenge 13, but he's like a 17th level or 18th level spellcaster. So that can be pretty tricky. Yeah. Xanathar is a beholder with a whole bunch of magic items and other stuff as well.
And they only work when he doesn't look at them, though. He blinks, they're on. Blinks, they're off.
It's true. Yeah. He has to keep them on his stalks away from his central eye. Even the Cassalanters are a powerful couple, like a literal power couple. They're CR 10 plus, I believe.
Yeah. But then you toss in other stuff like all their henchmen and their lair and all the other stuff. Basically, what I was getting at is this is a game design or a campaign designed for 1 to 5 players, or 1 to 5 levels for the players.
Right.
The NPCs are much higher level. You're not going to be fighting these guys if you're smart, but like if you're careful, you shouldn't be fighting these guys in a straight up fight.
If you do end up like crossing them, and you will because you're looking for what they consider to be their gold.
Yeah.
You can have other resources at your disposal. Because there are some powerful NPC allies in here as well.
Right.
There's the walking statues of Waterdeep. There's Lairel Silverhand, one of the open lords of Waterdeep, or I guess the open lord of Waterdeep.
Right.
There's people whom you can curry favor with and kind of use them as a shield or a sword even against the more powerful enemies, because you can be like, well, if you kill us, you'll make this person angry, and is that worth it?
Right, and that's the cool part about it. This game, this adventure, the campaign, does a really good job of having that kind of diplomatic approach to a lot of situations.
Absolutely.
There's a lot more court intrigue in an urban setting that we haven't really seen before. And again, like JR mentioned earlier, there's just so much in this book that is just a perfect example of how to do different things for your players as the DM. So if you want to have examples of how to make a cool NPC villain, a human villain, a different, like an elf villain or whatever.
If you want like higher level creatures, stuff, this book is a great way to do that. It also does a lot to like just put players in the game.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a book for DMs, but it's meant to help improve like the player's experience as well, because one of the things that I love about it is there's a whole chapter where it's just like at the end of the first adventure you get a base of operations in the city, right? Like,
right. Troll
Skull Manor, which is like this rundown inn, and there's a whole chapter that's just dedicated to like exploring the neighborhood that you're in.
There's a map of the neighborhood on top of the map.
Which you can find out more like in-depth detail about that in the review, our review of this adventure, which is live on our site as of this morning.
Yep.
So check that out for more info. But this it just does a ton of really cool, really fun, really exciting, good stuff.
Well, I know that we've touched on the NPCs, JR. Was there like, can you think of one NPC in particular that you're like just drawn to? Like that's the NPC that I want to run into. I know there's a lot to choose from in here. So.
Oh man, I really like Jarlaxle.
Yeah.
The Drow pirate king.
Yeah.
He's just such a. Like, I mean, he's just so, like, magnificently evil and selfish, and, like, he does all of this stuff, and you can't help but kind of admire him. I also really like because they kind of advance the storyline of D&D some. Of Waterdeep some, rather. I really like the new Blackstaff, right?
Yeah!
So
Can you go into detail a bit more about Blackstaff and what that all is?
The Blackstaff is a title for, like, the Wizard of Waterdeep, right? One of the ones who's, like, charged with protecting the city. They have, like... they're basically the High Wizard of Waterdeep, and they have the resources of the city at their disposal, but that's because they're supposed to protect it.
Yeah.
Now, previously in the history of D&D, that the Blackstaff has been Kelvin Aronson, who's like this wizard that's been in a ton of novels and all of that stuff. And in this adventure, there's a new Blackstaff who has the black staff.
The literal black staff.
His name, yeah. And she's got like basically kind of Avatar style. Has all of the spirits and personalities of the past black staves are kind of imprinted into the staff. Right. So she's like guided by them and works with the Harpers and kind of oversees a lot of the city. She's sort of a young upstart wizard as well, so it's pretty fun. Like, she's definitely the one who'd be looking to befriend the adventurers more than like previous ones. Like, she's willing to work with them more like down to earth. Kind of person. So. A lot, like I love stuff like that. I love shake-ups to like the history, but that build on it rather than negate it. Like it's a good spell plague thing.
Exactly. It's a great way for them to respect the old stuff and keep building on it and go forward from there and change stuff up. Exactly. Like I said, we mentioned earlier the Lords of Waterdeep board game. I like the idea that there are people that are higher power than the players over the city, kind of manipulating events. And the players end up either being pawns in that scheme or try to basically rise in power to rival those other people as well. Now, this does end at the 5th level, and we do know that coming out later
in November,
there's an additional book that's supposed to come out that kind of extrapolates it out. Okay, cool. Here's the next, couple of level, more than a couple.
Yeah, so Dungeon of the Mad Mage is the next Waterdeep book that's coming out, and it features Undermountain, and it's basically a level 6 through 20 adventure. Yeah. You can go into the Dungeon of Undermountain as much as you want. You can venture all the way through it. You can kind of go and come back.
I also like that this is your home base now, because you get an base, an HQ essentially.
You have property. You have a map. Like you get a map. Yeah. You can do stuff to
it. That can become your launching point to go into the Undermountain and go explore, or to leave the countryside and go visit other parts, but always have that place to come back to.
Yeah, like even if you're playing one of the other campaigns, like the first 2 chapters of this book are worth it. Like, they're a great. Probably my favorite like intro chapter or intro adventure for D&D that I've seen in any of these adventures so far.
Yeah, it's super well done.
Super fun. Imagine if you were running something like Tomb of Annihilation, right? So you wanted to run that. You could send them off to Port Nyanzaru at level 2 and have like an inn back home that they're trying to protect from the death curse or something like that.
You could also, if you wanted to work with it a little bit more, if you didn't want to have the set directly in Waterdeep, you can still take that chapter and transplant it.
Take that mechanic. The book does a lot. It
change the names to protect the innocent. Whatever you need to do.
But I like the ideas that it says of like giving players stuff that from a distance, you're like, well, I don't know if they're ready for this at that level, right? Yeah. Like throwing them up against high-powered villains, giving them buildings to own, like property and lots of treasure.
And JR, are there rules for downtime activities about running businesses in D&D?
Why, yes, there are, Adam.
Where would those be found at?
You can find those in the page of your friendly local Dungeon Master's Guide, where it can talk about stuff. Speaking of rules for things, this book has got some rules for rooftop chases.
Oh, that's a pretty expanded
rule. Yeah. Exactly.
You want to be Batman.
Who doesn't?
And who doesn't?
Yeah. So Waterdeep Dragon Heist, ton of fun. Adds a lot to D&D. It's a different look at like D&D from a different angle.
Yes.
And it's very a little more roleplay heavy, a little more action packed and exciting. And it's just a ton of fun. But that is Waterdeep. Now let's go into the
Kill Team.
The grim darkness of the far future.
The grim dark. Do we have the book? I know we have the books around somewhere. There they are. Jared's got them. Yes. We're going to be talking about the new expansion for Kill Team, which is Rogue Trader, which introduces 2 brand new factions. These 2 nice, cool mini dexes. The Illicidian, the Star Striders.
The non-Euclidean Star Striders.
The non-Euclidean geometry Star Striders. And then, of course, the Gellerpox Infected, which are probably my favorite of the 2, to be honest.
You would like them.
They're really cool.
They are really cool. I can't blame you.
The Star Striders do have Aximilian, that really sweet dog.
They have
pretty cool.
They do, and he's just a dog, not a cyber mastiff.
I think it's a canid.
Yeah, he's a canid. He's just a regular plain old good boy dog.
He's awesome. But yeah, both of these factions came out with are included in the Rogue Trader boxed set. I want to talk a little bit about the box set itself.
Sure, let's do that.
It's at the painters.
No.
So
right.
we're hobbying that part up, so we don't have the stuff to show off right now. But included in the box set is a couple of different sets of sprues. You've got the Star Striders sprue. You've got the Gellerpox
infected.
You get 2 sprues worth of terrain and like bulkheads and stuff to play. You get the board, which is actually double-sided. So one is like the ship and the bridge
one
area.
is like the bridge of the ship, and another is a shrine, right?
A shrine. It's like the hold of the ship, and you use those bulkheads and stuff like that. It's really cool because it allows you to really jump right into the thick of like a close quarters fight or a boarding action. Yeah,
which is something that like Kill Team especially needs, but I think 40K in general does.
Yeah.
So like it's got the rules for the ultra close confines in there, like
where bullets can bounce around and stuff like that.
There are walls that block line of sight that you can't charge through, but you can maybe blow them up if you've got a demolitions guy.
Yeah, which is why a lot of people have grenades.
It's true, but there's like a ton of cool rules in there that really recreate that feeling of like close quarters combat, which is what like you would expect from a Kill Team. Yeah. But it's really hard like with the pre-Rogue Trader ones to do, because if you get that closer, it's going to get charged. Yeah. Or you're going to get like mowed down by rapid fire guys. But this has a much like tighter kind of battle.
It's a claustrophobic vibe.
Yeah.
And it's done in a really cool way.
And it makes positioning and like planning matter that much more.
Yeah, and you get all the other stuff too. You get dice, you get the measuring tape, all the accoutrements of Kill Team inside the box. But
the real meat and potatoes of the set are
these two. Aside from the models, are these 2 books.
Yeah.
These 2 books again add 2 brand new factions to the game. This one obviously the Gellerpox is more Nurgle themed. Let's talk about the Star Striders first, because I really want to spend some time on the Gellerpox, and I feel like we could run long if we started with them.
So with the Star Striders, we get to meet a Rogue Trader and her retinue. They have rules for being there in Kill Team.
Yes.
And the mini dex is rules for using them as an allied detachment in 40K.
In 40K proper, yeah.
And so you get This codex is a lot more restrictive, I think, than the Gellerpox one.
Yeah, well, they're both fairly restrictive because it's basically limited on the models that were included in the box.
Right, but this one is specifically you can build Elucia Vane and like her retinue, and that's it.
Yeah,
and
it's they're also all of her retinue are essentially unique.
Yeah, they're all
you can't even have multiple copies of the Voidsman squad.
Right, no, because they aren't a Voidsman squad, which is a shame. Like
which
that is the one. Like of all of the things to be limited to one model only, like these Voidsmen, because they're gorgeous.
Yeah,
they're beautiful stuff, man. They look just cool.
Yeah, the squad itself looks pretty awesome. You can see some of the art there. The cool part about these books is they give you enough background and lore to actually get a good vibe of what's what that squad does, or what they were doing and where they were going, and all this other fun stuff. And then it jumps right into the rules. Yeah. So if you wanted to use these in 40K proper, you can totally do that.
You could totally do that.
But let's talk about some of the rules and units in the book real fast.
Sure. So starting with the army special ability, Warrant of Trade.
Yes.
Means that you can ride around in Imperium transports.
Yeah, this is pretty neat. Just the whole unit. Again, you only get 10 models. Give or take 1.
Yeah.
But you have the Warrant of Trade, so you can basically commandeer any any transport with the Imperium keyword and ride in it regardless of any other restrictions.
Exactly.
So if you wanted to take a drop pod down a planet, maybe an Artist Lighter.
Maybe you want to hop in a Land Raider.
Yeah, a Land Raider. Maybe.
I think, well, and so it's anything with an Imperium keyword.
Yeah.
So you could even like hop into a Repulsor.
Repulsor, yeah, I was thinking
and
about that earlier.
And that's anything that has that keyword. So,
yeah.
Which all of the models, I believe, do. So, like, you can
They're
get
all
your,
Imperium, yeah.
Well, no, I mean, all of the models in the faction have the Warrant of Trade.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, your Death Cult Executioner Assassin can ride in transport. Your Electro Priest can.
No, not Electro, just
your
Electro
Priest.
Sorry, because we gotta...
gotta
drop those vowels.
The other big thing that I think is maybe one of the most underrated things about this book, but I'm very curious, is the Warlord trait. Explorer or Fleetmaster, which kind of is like, I don't know, we kind of feel like maybe it's GW stealth testing a rule.
Yeah, definitely. So let me just read it real fast, because that rule is also basically in the Gellerpox one real fast. If your army is Battleforged, you receive 3 additional command points. These can only be spent on the Starstrider's stratagems. So just like any other faction, they have their own stratagems. This rule, though, generates 3 additional command points, which is pretty big.
That's pretty big.
But they can only be spent on their specific stratagems.
Right.
And, I don't know if you've been keeping up with the meta lately or some of those discussions going on in the 40K community at large. But a lot of folks are pointing at the command point system and the stratagem system that are inherent to the game, that are really a big part of the game, and saying, hey, those things are causing ripples and problems that were probably not thought about before.
Right, because what you're seeing is people will take things like what we're calling the Loyal 32.
Or just command point batteries.
Just command point batteries.
Detachments, not even units,
detachments. You just a whole bunch of stuff that is super cheap.
Yeah.
But it's there. You're basically paying for command points.
Yeah.
And command points that can take objectives, or command points that can contest objectives or control the board. Command points that can act as bubble wrap for your units that are actually going to do the killing.
Yeah. And we've seen this. It's very prevalent in the Imperial Soup list, where you're running a knight, some Blood Angels, typically 2 Slam Captains, and 3 squads of scouts, just so that it's an actual detachment. And then the more recent lists have been in Astra Militarum with just a ton of cheap stuff. Your mileage may vary. Pick your soup.
Pick your
but
flavor
it's the
of
same
soup.
basic
I like a
build.
consomme.
Yeah. I'm more of a chicken noodle guy, but just the basics. But it's that Castellan, the Blood Angels, and the Astra Militarum. You're just seeing that kind of, I don't want to say cookie cutter, but that's exactly what it is. When the majority of field in big tournaments are running those, you're just seeing that kind of thing repeated over and over.
Template, right?
The template,
So like the formula is there of like take a bunch of units to generate command points, take some really effective killing things
that need lots of command points,
right? But that it would be hard to get them for otherwise.
Yeah.
And just kind of dump all of your like points into them.
Yeah.
So instead, like
instead they're using this, but I want to point something out too. This doesn't say that all of their command points. It's just this Warlord trait.
Right.
So, again, if GW is testing out like a stealth rule of limiting command points, they're only limiting 3 command points from this detachment.
Right.
For this detachment. We know that the big FAQ is on the horizon.
We do.
We haven't heard anything about if they beta test anything. Give it out to the players at large to see what they think about it. But I mean, would you be shocked if in the future we had some kind of limit on this detachment can only use command points generated by themselves?
I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily I wouldn't feel comfortable enough calling it. Like I wouldn't be like, yeah, this is obviously what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I would also not be surprised if this was sort of paving the way for that a little bit.
Yeah. At the same time, it can be cool and it can be flavorful to have those different sections working together. We see it all the time in the lore where you've got Adeptus Mechanicus rolling with the Astra Militarum,
and then like a single tactical marine squad rolling up
a
to
tech squad,
get the job done.
Death Watch, great example. Yeah. So like you have that in the lore. It's representative.
And some of the factions would be, I think, hurt if they made that rule, because like some of them it's hard to put together a detachment on their own, right? Like without fielding other things. Let alone generate command points enough to use the stratagems.
Right, like I don't think I've seen a Tempestus Scion army.
Right.
That's a good example of like just Scions and only Scions in a long time. I think when they first came out I saw one, but then that got reworked into an Astra Militarum list that was kind of a mixed bag. Or you know, it's also strange for armies like Orcs is going to be weird.
Yeah, for Orcs it'd be weird.
Necrons, Tyranids. You know, the armies out there that are essentially their own allies.
They're their own allies, right? So because like the different orc clans are your soup instead of Militarum, Adeptus Mechanicus, Knights, Custodes. Wow, there's just a lot of ingredients in Imperium soup.
Yeah, the 4 different flavors of Marine that you can have now.
So let's get back to Rogue Trader.
That's a big rule. You do obviously have Vane, Elucidia Vane. I think she's an Eldar, by the way.
I would not be surprised.
She's very stretched out and lanky. And,
she is very Eldar-y. And she wears that veil. No one can see her face.
Ears are maybe a little pointed. I'm just saying. Maybe that's a throwback to.
She likes to fight with a sword. Well, that could be anybody. Okay, that's fair.
But maybe it's a call out to one of the original Rogue Traders, Obi-Wan Sherlock Rousseau, from 1987's Rogue Trader.
Yeah.
Who is
best name in 40K ever.
Seriously. Obi-Wan Sherlock Rousseau. It's a real deal Rogue Trader.
Look him up.
Look him up on the Lexicanum. It's a real deal. But
he was an Eldar, right?
No.
Or half Eldar?
It was like, well, actually, he wasn't, but there was another navigator for the Ultramarines, I believe.
Right.
Whose mother was an Eldar, and he's like half human. Yeah. Anyway, he was a psyker.
It was a different time back then.
Back in the 80s, man. Woo. Drugs.
Lucia Vane is a pretty cool. Like, she's a 4-point character, and she has 4 power level. She has all of the stuff that a 4 power level character should have. Let your allied units reroll 1s for different things.
Right.
I think she lets them reroll hits. Yeah. Which is pretty strong.
She's got a couple of different ways to generate some mortal wounds as well. She's got a concealed Archaeotech weapon, which is kind of cool. I think she has command stratagems later that you can use to do mortal wounds as well. It's like one-shot type things.
And her close combat weapon is AP -4, so it's if it wounds, she's only strength 3.
Rapier.
If it's only she's only strength 3, but if it wounds, like, you know.
Well, she's interesting because she's the commander, but she's a middle ground for both shooting. She's got a decent shooting attack.
She's got a different decent shooting attack.
And close combat. So if
like,
in a pinch, if you need her to get in there and poke somebody, she can do that.
It's also interesting because
with a pointy end.
You want her to get in there, but you also don't want her to get in there alone. You want to make use of like your voidsmen and stuff.
Right. Let's talk about the retinue overall. So it's actually packed full of specialists.
Yeah. So
the way this kind of faction, this mini faction really works is you've got all of these different specialists that are really good at doing that one thing, and you have Niche's squad, which is kind of like the meat shields. There's a couple of red shirts basically that are going to get in the way of getting killed, so that your specialists can have that striking opportunity to get in there, like shooting. That, to be fair, the Voidsman squad itself does pump out some shots. Yeah. But like if they get charged, they're dead. They're pretty much toast. But you can set that up to be a screen for your other characters to get in there and do some damage.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
Yeah. I think the big thing from the squad, aside from Maximilian, who's awesome by himself, and you should just take that squad for him. Is the my favorite thing though is the roto cannon. Yes. Which is a heavy 4, strength 4, AP -1, 2 damage gun. Right. It's 24 inch range. I want to say that the roto cannon was also from the Heresy era weapons for the Marines, but it's cool to have that character walk around. He's got a minigun. He's walking around with a minigun, just mowing stuff down. And again, these two codexes, these two mini-dexes are kind of designed to really go at it with each other.
Right.
So they each have their own strengths and weaknesses.
That are kind of balanced against each other.
Yeah.
You get the Electromeister Larsen Vandergraus.
Yeah. Cool name.
Very cool, and he shoots it with lightning.
He likes the Tesla.
Whatever it is, he shoots it with lightning, and he's basically a Tesla weapon. He's like a Tesla blaster equipped guy with some extra wounds and that can do all right in a fight.
Also, his gun is really cool. His voltaic pistol. Mm-hmm. Every unmodified roll of 6 for the attack scores 3 hits.
Yeah, he's a Tesla weapon.
Yeah, exactly. It is a Tesla weapon, but it's worded differently because normally you just add 1 hit for each 6 you roll. Instead, whatever. Point is, that's what it does.
And he gives everyone nearby an invulnerable save, which will help keep your Voidsmen alive before they all die.
Speaking of keeping your Voidsmen alive,
there's the medic specialist, Sanastasia Minst.
Minced.
She is
kind of like Minsk.
Yeah.
D&D early.
She is a surgeon medic, so that means that, of course, she's heavily armed, uses her scalpels as weapons in close combat, and carries concussion grenades.
But her big thing is the healing serum, which is at the end of your movement phase, you can basically give a unit a wound back on a 4-up. And if it's Nisha Squad, she can actually bring a model back, because the Voidsmen, the red shirts. I don't know if she calls in reinforcements or just walks over their body and gives them the adrenaline shot, but they come back.
And then, of course, you get your Death Cult assassin, Naso Prond, who is just
she's a ninja.
She's a ninja, straight up ninja. Yeah. She will cut someone down with her assassin blade.
Yeah, Death Cult assassin blade. She has uncanny reflexes, which is kind of nice because. Up against the Gellerpox infected, these guys are very heavy on the close combat, and she's kind of that counterweight to once you get in there with something, she's the bullet that's going to come out of nowhere and just chop them to pieces. She also has a really cool death mask that is basically a Mandy Blaster from the Eldar.
Big wounds on it too.
Yeah.
Again, lends a lot of credence to the theory that she's an Eldar.
Just throwing it out there.
Anyway,
they have their own stratagems, which we're not going to go over because we're running low on time, and I want to talk
about the Gellerpox guys. So these guys are kind of, I think, very bad news for the Imperium.
Can we talk about this from the lore real fast?
Yeah,
because
let's...
you and I both know what's up with the Gellerpox, and it's kind of a big deal. So, JR, why is the Gellerpox a thing? What is the Gellerpox?
So, we all know, as I'm sure
everyone knows.
Every single person knows what a Geller field is. They're the special fields that protect ships in the warp from the demons, from getting mutated, from getting disjointed from time, from all the bad stuff, from all the chaos.
The Geller fields
in the warp. The Geller fields kind of protects you.
Yeah.
But the Gellerpox, which they
aptly named,
is a virus that Nurgle has cooked up that kind of gets around that because up until that point the Geller field protects every ship in the Imperium, and unless something goes wrong with the Geller field generator,
again, the Geller field's not exactly stable to begin with.
It's not 100% effective, but it's effective enough that if well maintained and you don't get a bunch of cultists that sabotage everything.
Yeah,
it's fine. But Nurgle has figured out a way to infect the Geller field generator itself, so that it begins to it becomes corrupted by this Nurgle virus, and it begins slowly infecting the people that work around it, the engineers and the menials and all that stuff, and it slowly twists their minds and makes them super venerate the Geller field, right? They begin to worship it. And while they worship it, their venerations sort of
twist it even further.
Right.
Essentially, it becomes Hellraiser.
Yeah, basically, or the Event Horizon.
Event Horizon. Yeah.
It basically
think of those sci-fi movies in space where something about the transportation device goes horribly wrong, and mutant freaks start showing up. That's basically what we're talking about here.
Yeah, and that's what happens. Like, you'll start getting mutants. The machines themselves can be infected. And they say in the lore that this isn't just limited to, like, the Rogue Trader's starship.
No.
Like, they talk about how, like ships throughout the Imperium might be infected with this.
Yeah.
So, like, unless they can figure out a way to stop this...
Some way to immunize their Gellerpox. It's an interesting... like you're saying, it's a very interesting spin on the whole concept of warp travel in the Grimdark Millennium, because now suddenly
it's not safe anymore.
Yeah,
like even within the regular Imperium, it's over, right? Like,
yeah. If this Gellerpox thing gets out, and like we already think it has, I mean, we've had the Great Rift,
right?
Which destabilized it, cut the Grimdark Galaxy in half. And there's very limited ways to get from one side to the other already.
Safely,
which is what was it? Kill Team was actually about. The big starter set was about one of the planets.
And Tooth and Claw.
Well, yeah. That's about one of the planets that's like a gateway for the Cicatrix Malediction.
Yeah.
One of the safe passages. Anyway, but now Chaos has found a way to mess with ships even more than they already were doing, because we all know that warp travel wasn't exactly a breeze to begin with.
No, but now
it's even worse.
It's infections spreading from ship to ship to ship to ship throughout the Imperium.
Yeah.
So like unless they can find a way to stop it, that's kind of game over.
They need a firmware update ASAP.
Warp travel, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, they almost certainly will, but right now everything kind of seems like bad news.
Yeah, it's just a very interesting take on that whole concept, and I'm very curious to see if GW follows through with more Gellerpox stuff. On that whole field, I really want to see the Gellerpox become a whole faction.
Right.
I'm excited about the Rogue Traders coming back and the potential for that, but the idea that these Gellerpox Nurgle mutants can show up on any ship is really cool.
Let's talk about why you want to see them as their own faction, and about some of the models here.
Yeah, so a lot of people might be a little confused as to the scale of the Gellerpox. The big guys you see, like the Hullbreakers, for instance, or Volgrar, the Thrice Cursed. He's the big leader. They're not like Demon Prince size. They're a little bit smaller. I don't know if we have any around. Let me go check real quick.
He's going to go check for the Demon Prince, folks, and I guess also plugging in the camera, because we need more power. We have a Demon Prince somewhere.
No, I was looking for...
Yeah, the core Demon Prince we have is up on the top shelf next to you.
There's... I know we had... Oh, I know what happened.
For the little one?
Yeah, I think Goat Boy took it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Thomas was in the studio. He took it. They're smaller than that.
They're smaller than this guy, but they're bigger than...
Trying to find a good thing. Sorry,
maybe.
Yeah, they're
ish.
They're not even that wide. They're more narrow.
They are more narrow, but they're on this kind of base.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Old school. Here we go. So,
here we go. Yeah, there it is.
You remember the old school Bloodthirster? If you broke the wings off and put him on a slightly smaller base, that's about the size we're talking about.
Good old school.
Yeah, they're not huge models. Because they are designed to be in the ship quarters. So if you're thinking they're going to be like these giant, they are big, but they're not like comparatively they're big.
They're not like these massive,
it's not like a knight,
big box kit size things,
or like it's not even as big as a dreadnought. But the cool thing is, they are intimidating in that scale. They fit really well. They have some really neat rules. Volgrar the Thrice Curse, for instance. By the way, everything in this unit in this faction except for the little guys has disgusting resilient too.
Yeah. Which is pretty amazing. I mean, Nurgle.
Yeah, but like they're marked Nurgle, so all of the Nurgle effects that impact them, are there as well. So Nurgle's rot, all the negative benefits that impact your enemy won't impact your units running around with them. Volgrar himself, really cool looking. He's got a belly flamer. He's one of the few models in the army that actually has a gun, which is kind of
useful.
Yeah.
He's absorbed the bodies of some of the engine crew. That's why he's got 3 heads.
Yeah, Volgar was actually 2. I was about to fall. He's actually 2. Or sorry, he's
3.
actually the engineer, and he's absorbed 2 of his deck mates.
Right.
So, and that's why he's the thrice cursed. He's pretty cool. I want to skip ahead. He does have a involuntary, which is nice. But really, he's Jason X.
Right.
If you really want to break it down, the movie comparison I make in my head is he's basically he's the supervillain from a horror movie. He's Jason X. He's the queen from Alien.
He's hard to kill.
You know?
He will get up close to you, destroy you.
He's got command points.
Terrify you.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of cool abilities you can use.
But if you have that image of your head when you're playing Kill Team on the small table of this big bad murderer stalking through the bulkheads coming after your crew, that's basically what's going on with the Gellerpox mutants. The Vox Shamblers are another really interesting unit. These are the Gellerpox mutants. My biggest beef with this book, with the mini decks, is that, again, squad limits are what kill these units. The Vox Shamblers are a unit of 3 models, 3 mutants, and that's it. You can't take more. And they're not a generic unit. You can have
multiple of them.
Well, they're only 2 power level, but you only get 3 models in a whole unit.
And that's it.
It stinks because they have those the Gellerpox masks, which give them a 5 invuln save, and every time you roll a 6 for the save in the fight phase, you redirect an attack at the opponent that hits you, and they suffer a mortal wound, which is really cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they look like poxwalkers with Necron
masks. Yeah,
that's basically what they look like to me.
Yeah.
They have some decent attack. They're kind of this. They're a little bit. I think they're a little bit better than Plague Bearers, and definitely better than base poxwalkers. But the big problem with them is you can only take 3 in the unit, and you're going to see that kind of repeated throughout both the Starstriders and the Gellerpox
infected.
Glitchlings, that's another really fun unit. This is one of the few demon units in the book.
Yeah. Which is a ton of fun.
They're Nurglings.
They're Nurglings that have they're like Nurglings that have been through the Gremlins 2 process.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, exactly. So if you've seen Gremlins 2, you know what we're talking about. Like they have their own special theme. These are
spotted in the movie. It's gonna be in the movie. Yeah.
These are Nurglings that kind of are born because the virus corrupts man and machine, right?
I'm gonna watch that clip later.
These are glitchlings that were born from like cybernetics and computers and stuff, and they are gremlins. I mean, they chew wires.
The idea of a gremlin from World War II that even before that messed with your ship and caused malfunctions.
That's
the gremlins,
these guys.
That's the glitchlings. They actually have an ability called Weapon Glitch, which causes your attacker to subtract 1 from their hit rolls when shooting at them, which is just very appropriate. They're
incredibly appropriate.
They cause glitches. They're another troop choice, by the way. So you do get two troop options. And again, this unit is limited by the fact you can only have 4 models in the unit.
Right.
If it had an option to have more, it'd be all over this.
It would be amazing.
Nightmare Hulks.
The Hull Breakers are the special unit. The Nightmare Hulks are they're the ones who are like the bigger, beefier, evil mutants. They're basically Spawn.
Yeah. Again, think of that's a good size.
Yeah.
Think of a Chaos Spawn, maybe a little narrower, but that's the size we're playing with here.
Right.
The Hull Breakers themselves. Really cool unit, terrible armor save, but they can regen. So
and if you can get them in there, man, they will hurt.
Yeah, they have command point ways to regen. Let me clarify that.
Yeah.
They don't have a regen ability. They I don't know if they have. They do have disgusting resilient. Which is necessary.
They need it because otherwise they're just shot and dead. They have 4 wounds also, which is helpful.
And they're a tough 5. And they're pretty ballsy in close combat.
Again, you can only ever have 3 of them.
Yeah, again, limit on that. It's not the best. Then we get to the Mutoid Warman. Again, this whole section with the Ice Stringer Swarms, the Curse Mites, and the Sludge Grubs. Again, I think this was a missed opportunity from Games Workshop. because they did not make the squad sizes bigger or give you the option to buy more stuff. You
do get some cool things though, like these are like little parasites that have become corrupted and become.
The lore is fantastic for these guys.
Yeah.
The sludge grubs probably one of my favorites because they have acid blood. So anytime you kill them in the fight phase, on a what is it 6-up, you suffer a mortal wound back, which is just appropriate acid blood.
Just run them in there and get them killed.
Yeah. On the flip side, their stratagems do have ways for you to bring dead units back, and you can do some really cool teleport shenanigans. And again,
the Geller shift.
Yeah, the Geller shift combined with mutoid infestation will allow you to teleport your Gellerpox mutants to a spot and then immediately bring in because a squad of the mutoid vermin because the stratagems happen at different parts in the movement phase. So the Geller shift happens before you move the Vox Shamblers in the movement phase, and then the mutoid infestations happens at the end of the phase. So if you
can
do them correctly,
move some guys up, then hey, I've got mutoid vermins now.
Deal with these bugs too.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a neat mix. Again, in this book too, on top of these stratagems, data sheets, there are points for each model.
Yep.
And again,
it's a ton of fun. I would love to see more stuff like this in 40K proper. I'm hoping that future Kill Team expansions might have stuff like this.
Yeah, I'm hoping that
if they take time to test it out and be like, okay, what would this faction feel like?
I'm hoping that we get to see both of these factions again in 40K proper with larger codexes, because this has happened before. The Talons of the Emperor, great example. Adeptus Custodes got a real unit, a real book, and became real boys.
They're real boys. They're real good boys too.
Yeah.
Cool. They're
they're tough as nails.
Tough
There's
as
jet
nails.
bike captains, man. Woo.
Jet bike captains,
but
they will mess you up.
Basically, I don't know if the Gellerpox or the Starstriders are going to get the Adeptus Custodes treatment,
but fingers crossed. I want to see like the edges of 40K get filled in a lot more, right?
Yeah.
Because we've had 8 editions of Space Marines, Necrons.
Well, not 8 editions of Necrons, but I know what you mean.
8 editions of Space Marines, Guard, Chaos Marines, Chaos Demons.
Yeah.
Like let's get weird. Let's see the weird stuff.
And these
4 editions of Tau.
Yeah.
Or 5, whatever. I don't history.
I think that these are great examples of where they could take it.
Yeah.
They could expand these out. I mean.
So it's what we're seeing with Age of Sigmar, right? They're kind of experimenting and really playing and being like, okay, this is what now that we have however many years of game design under our belts, here's what a more modern army looks like, and I want to see that.
That's the other thing too.
From the ground up.
But I think the Gellerpox play differently than some other armies on the game currently.
Yeah, even other Nurgle armies.
Yeah, definitely different than other Nurgle armies. They're very, very different from Death Guard, I'll say that much. A little bit closer to maybe Nurgle Demons because, again, the close combat focus. The Starstriders feel different than an Astra Militarum army.
Absolutely.
But again, you're limited to 10
just
models.
Those models.
So it's hard to get a real good grasp. The idea that you have a lot of Imperial specialists in a tightly packed thing.
That's pretty cool.
Could be interesting. Could be fun.
Well, that's our show for today, folks.
Yep.
Thank you for tuning in, checking it out. Again, we talked about the new Rogue Trader expansion. We talked about Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Yeah. You can find more news, views, opinions, and brews if you...
Brews?
Well, maybe. It's possible. Check out our site, Bell of Lost Souls, throughout the week, and we will be back next Monday with the latest happenings.
Yep, this has been the BoLS Tabletop Hour. I'm Adam Harry.
I'm JR.
Thanks for watching, guys. subscribe. Thanks for watching.